Hey, how y'all doing? You know, when I was young, we had a different way of learning. We didn't have Google, we didn't have search engines, we didn't have the internet. What we had was encyclopedias, and I was a voracious reader, and I loved just learning about stuff. So when I'd be bored or whatever, I'd pull whatever letter out of the encyclopedia, and I'd just start going through it and learning different things about random stuff. You know, my ex-wife will tell you that I know a little bit about a hell of a lot of stuff. And that's because I like learning about that stuff. I like picking up on things, and I think I've talked about it before. I like knowing my you know, I like knowing that I know what I'm talking about and stuff. So there was an incident when I was a kid and stuff. You had to pick a country and do a social studies or something project on it, tell some facts about it. And I don't know if I picked or if I got given Sri Lanka. And one thing I learned in one of my encyclopedias was that Sri Lanka used to be called Ceylon. Now I may be pronouncing it wrong, but for me in that day there was a show called Battlestar Galactica, and the bad guys on the show were called Cylons. So to me it was like, oh, that's cool, you know, that's a cool little, you know, reference and stuff. So I put that on my sheet and everything, turned it in and stuff, and that got marked off as being false, as being wrong. Now, it wasn't wrong or false. It's in my encyclopedia, but I guess my teacher didn't have as good as encyclopedias as I had. Now, nowadays this wouldn't happen because you can jump on Google, you can type in Sri Lanka, and you can type in Ceylon, C-U-I-L-O-N, and it'll show you that what I put on there was absolutely true and stuff. But that's what we had to deal with, the lack of information, but yet we had a lot of educated and informed people outside of that. We really did and stuff. Now look at nowadays, and it's like, we have all access to all the information in the world. We can learn so many different things, and learning is fun. When you learn one thing and you go down a rabbit hole and you pick up this thing and you learn this and that and stuff, that's a fun thing to do. You know, you can make it fun and stuff. Of course, you need critical thinking skills, especially nowadays because there is so much information and stuff, but you learn that as you go. But I see a lot of times nowadays we have a lot of ill-informed and ignorant people, and all the information in the world is right there, the thing that you're watching me on and stuff. And I think that's something we definitely need to work on. I'm going to talk more about this tomorrow. So have an awesome Tuesday. You're an awesome, amazing human being, and I love you so much. Peace out.